All right, y'all, jumping on in, I started off by, of course, gluing down one of my brows, which I will continue to fix as we start adding my foundation. But first I'm going to go in with my Makeup Revolution Pore Blur Primer. This is such an excellent primer from the drugstore, y'all. It's a staple in my collection for sure. And then we are using my tried and true foundation right now. This is the ABH Luminous Foundation. I'm in the shade 305N. It is literally my current obsession. I loved it when I first got it. I'm back in love with it again. It's like my favorite wintertime foundation. I know that's not what this video is about, but I had to tell you. Once I put a layer of foundation all over my face, including my glued down brow, I'm going to go in with my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade medium and just really put a thick layer over the eyebrow that I laid down and buff that out with my sponge after I let it sit for a couple minutes. And then while I do a layer of my normal concealer, which this is the Jeffree Star Concealer in C13, I'm going to do yet another layer of the Tarte concealer on my eyebrows. You can see here, let that sit, and then I'll blend it out. This is just going to ensure that my brow is really hidden from everyone. And it's funny, I realized that I definitely did not have to do concealer under my one eye that I'm going to be covering up, but habit, I guess. If you remember not to do that, then child, you are better than me. Next, I'm going to go ahead and set everywhere I put concealer, especially over my one eyebrow, down with some translucent powder. This is the Jeffree Star translucent powder in beige. Y'all, this is the best translucent powder in my collection. This mess makes me look so poreless and so flawless. I'm obsessed. So we're going to start working on my one eye. I'm using the Morphe Dare to Create palette, and I'm just going to do a very basic, like, eyeshadow look. You do whatever you want to, but I'm going neutrals here, so I'm just going to create kind of like a winged out shape. It's very messy. There is nothing to do this, and I can't tell you the shades that I use, so when I point, just pay attention because there's no names in this palette. So I'm going to kind of take that one same kind of neutral brown shade. I'm going to put it both top and bottom, as you see right here. And then I'm going to go in with a slightly deeper shade that I'm showing you right now. That one right there. Sticking very neutral. This one's leading a little bit more warmer. And then I'm just going to kind of deepen up this eye look. Then I'm going to go in with an even deeper shade and just really add a little bit more depth again to this look. You do whatever you want to, whatever you're comfortable with. Add glitter, do something more colorful. It's completely up to you, but I wanted to do something that really I didn't have to think about, which is why I'm doing this particular look. We're going to move back to the face. I'm going to start with this ABH Rosewood Bronzer. I am eventually going to add some Fenty Beauty Bronzer in the shade Island Ting as well. On top of that, you're just not going to see it. But I'm just going to put this pretty much everywhere I normally bronze. My cheeks, my forehead, and I do a little, like a very light nose contour as well. And then to snatch everything, I'm also going to be taking the Benefit Hoola Bronzer. This is my tried and true contour shade, and I'm going to contour exclusively with this shade, as you can see right here. Alright, so we're going to jump to some of the fun stuff, and as always, I am mapping out all my cracks and all that good stuff on Chucky's face with my normal eyebrow pencil, just again to make sure that if I need to change up anything, it's easy for me to remove. I literally just have a picture of Chucky the doll pulled up, and I'm just kind of following that in a rough little outline. I'm taking my Mehron Bruise Wheel, and this is a staple within my Halloween makeup collection, and I'm going to take that brownish shade and I'm going to put this as a base layer in all of like my holes. I don't know that there's a better way to describe that. I just didn't like having to use that word, I'm not gonna lie. I love this brown shade because it pulls this like reddish brown, as you can see here. It's my most used shade out of this Bruise Wheel. It is phenomenal. So I'm just going to kind of cover my whole eye area here, as you can see, any much the place where it looks like it's supposed to be like the deepest. And then I'm going to take the black shade and I'm going to kind of start shadowing this along the edges by doing some stamping motions and then working on blending that out. This looks like it should be difficult, but it's not. You're just going to take the time to really layer, add a little bit in certain areas at a time, and then buff that out and then see where you can add more. I'm not going to lie, there's no rhyme or reason to why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going along with it because you can always change it up and add more of like that red shade back in to really cover it up if you don't like how you laid something down. I'm now going in with that bright red shade and I'm going to put this primarily in the center on my eye because I want it to look really intense in this area, and these shades all work so well together. Now they don't really dry down, so that is something you want to keep in mind. They are going to stay a little bit tacky, so you can always set them with an eyeshadow if you want. I didn't for this, but if you're going to wear it out, you are probably going to want to set it so it doesn't feel almost like waxy, is a way that I would use to describe it. That feels right. Now I'm going in with my Makeup Forever Flash palette, again, one of my staples in my Halloween collection. And again, I'm just going to use this to outline everywhere that I drew with my eyebrow pencil. You can use an eyeliner, a liquid liner, whatever you want. You do not have to have this product by any means, but because I have it and I love how it performs, I am going to use it. So again, I'm just tracing everything that I drew with my eyebrow pencil with the black from this palette. I will say, just like with the other Bruise palette, this is not going to dry down. So next I'm going to start setting it with some black eyeshadow. So I would recommend, if you don't want to do this extra step, again, like an eyeliner pencil, like a liquid liner pencil is going to be your best bet, so you don't have to do this extra work. I don't mind. It's just something I'm used to doing because I like the overall pigmentation that I get from doing this two-step, but for time and convenience, just use a liquid liner. It's going to save you all that time. But for me, as you can see, I'm now just literally going over all that black with the Flash palette with a black eyeshadow. Again, still sticking with the Morphe Dare to Create palette here. I am now going to mix these two shades here from the Dare to Create palette, and I'm going to start buffing around the edges of all my lines. And I am doing this because this is going to start making the lines look a little more realistic, a little bit 3D, because you're not going to be scratched and like breaking apart on your face. I know he's a doll, but without some sort of like either raised looking situation, somewhat bloody looking. So that's what this is starting to emulate. I am also going to be taking the Jeffree Star Conspiracy palette and that bright red and adding a little bit of this to certain places as well. Again, these scratches are not going to be just basic lines on the face. We want to add a little bit of something to them. And so I'm placing this in random sections. I'm not going all the way down on both sides. I'm just kind of randomly putting them wherever I feel like, a little bit at a time, because I can always add more. It's harder to take it away. I am now going in with the white shade from my Makeup Forever Flash palette, and I'm going to take a tiny little brush and I'm going to start putting some highlights again on these scratches because they are not going to be flat. I want them to have some depth and some kind of like realisticness to them. I hope that makes sense. It makes it look so much better overall, in my personal opinion. And then I did take the black and I did some like regular lines, and then I'm taking this silver from that Flash palette and almost doing like some staples. That's kind of where I was going with this. So I have like stitches and staples kind of holding everything together. On the staples, I do end up taking the black and just doing little dots on each end so they look a little bit more realistic. Of course, I'm going to go in and add some highlighter. This is me we're talking about. This is the ABH and Amrezy Highlighter, one of the best highlighters ever created. I can't believe we do not have that anymore. Such a scam. And then I do have to add a little bit of lipstick. This is the Jeffree Star Thickest Thieves liquid lipstick. It's perfect. And then I do add a little bit of like stage blood as well as fresh scab blood. I add the scab blood in my eye socket area, as you can see, and then the stage blood is the stuff I'm stamping on my face right now. It does not dry down, but it does not really move if you don't put a lot, so keep that in mind. And then there you have it, you guys. This is my take on Chucky. I love how it turned out. I think it was so fun to do. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me. I hope you enjoyed all my Halloween content this year. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I hope you have a happy and safe Halloween.